Welcome to the Photographers Podcast, where we bring you master photographers from around the country to help you with your own photography. Today, I've brought in my special friend Casper, who runs a business called Drone Pilots. We're going to talk today about drone photography. Thanks for joining the show, Casper.
Not a worry, Randy. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to be around you because you have a lot of energy, you have a lot of great ideas, and you really inspire me. Okay, so I appreciate that.
Not a worry. So
let's talk about, a little bit about your background. Tell me about the things you've done in your short but eventful life.
Well, it's quite a bit to tell myself. Like we talk about photography and videography. I've actually been making videos now for 20 years.
20 years.
20 years. And it started when I left home at 18. I'm from Norfolk in England. Right, beautiful coastal land. We have giant cliffs, absolutely fantastic. In a city with 1,000-year-old cathedrals and castles and Harry Potter lanes. It's absolutely fantastic, right?
Right.
And so I got an eye there. And then when I became 18, to my mother's dismay, I moved to the other side of the planet. I moved to New Zealand.
What a beautiful place to move to.
It's absolutely fantastic. It's like we're in Canada right now, and New Zealand is like all the best bits of Canada combined into one landmass that you can get to pretty easily as well. So it's absolutely a fantastic eye. And the reason I moved there was my career, which I still do today, was to become a skydiving instructor. And so I started skydiving by the Southern Alps in New Zealand.
Wow.
That's good.
Wow.
Pretty nifty. I did a course down there, a 3-month course, and I did 200 jumps in that initial period. And then I started working around New Zealand. And for instance, my first job was by Fox Glacier. And we'd take off, we'd go over the ocean, cross over the top of a rainforest, up a glacier, and then next to Mount Cook and Mount Tasman, which are the ones Edmund Hillary practiced on to climb Mount Everest originally.
Wow. I mean, I thought I was doing well when I've taken photos of famous bands. No, there's not the same adrenaline. No. I don't think. What made you get the bug? Like, you started playing with it and you've taken it from a hobby to a business.
I have taken it.
That's a big stretch, okay? From having fun to actually turning it into a business, which sometimes turns it into less fun. But I don't think you're there. I think you're still having a great time. So what happened to from hobby to business?
Well, I started, I realized I was doing some drone jobs, and there's a lot of industries in drones, right? You can do like agriculture, you can do inspection work, you can do videography work, and you can do cinematic with the high drones, or you can use the FPV goggles and you can fly through the gaps. And so I tried a lot of them. Like, I can do photogrammetry, which is creating 3D maps with them. I've done a bit of inspection work. So I worked in oil and gas, like I said beforehand. Right. I was an inspector for that, so trying the drones a bit different. I used to do that as a rope access technician. So I used to climb the giant wind turbines and climb the refineries to save people building scaffolding. And so now drones is just the next level of safety for these guys. So I was like, that's pretty cool.
Do you know what hit me there is that your prior experience with jumping out of a plane helps you when you're climbing a scaffold in a way.
Oh, it is, yes.
Right?
It's safety equipment to make sure we know what we're doing.
Yes.
It's having a good, fear obviously isn't something which catches my fear or anything like that.
Right.
Height doesn't, so I can get through that. But with like a videography, what I found with the drones is that my true passion, I like videography. I like filming people and events, and so it's just how we met, right?
Yeah.
We met at Chamber of Commerce, and you saw me once again downtown Oshawa, right?
Right.
At a Christmas light opening. And so what the way it is, I found that drone, though it's really fun to use the drone, like the time you have, just like skydiving. Skydiving is exciting, but really it's like a minute free fall maximum and 4 minutes on the canopy maximum, then a lot of ground time. And drones are the same. You spend a lot of time on the ground and not so much time in the air. So it seems like an exciting career, but really what I discovered, it's just one of our tools.
Right.
Like Randy, you got a lot of cameras, right, for taking pictures, not just one camera.
No, that's right.
For all jobs.
That's right. And that's why, even though we're a photography podcast, the drone world, we want to start to dive into the video component of what I've been doing for a long time, because I do find that I like to keep pushing myself and doing something different so I don't get bored. And drones, for what you do, I mean, I'm ecstatic to learn from you on anything you're doing. So let's go into the different types of businesses that really want to use drones. And we'll start with the one that everybody knows about, which is real estate photography. So what I want to ask you is, why is drone photography so popular with agents, real estate agents?
I think it shows another angle, another light. You want to, as a real estate agent, want your property to really shine, and you want to show it from more angles than the average guy. And so photography, real estate photography is not new. People have been taking like pictures,
right,
all the time, and then people started making videos with it. But having a drone as a component can really set the establishing shot of the area. You do a nice high one, you can see the whole area, and you can come in and you can see the property with its land. And that's very important to then go into the house afterwards, because you live around the area. You're not just living inside a building. I think that's what drone does. And then the next step, I go beyond that with drones. I do the first person view, the FPV drone flying as well. So I come in with my larger drone, which can take high winds up to 43 kilometers an hour. Great drone, right? And then I come in towards, and then I'll blend that with my FPV drone. I take that over.
That's a smaller drone.
That's the smaller drone. It's got guards around the propellers, so it doesn't hurt people or damage property. If you crash. I mean, you talk about crashing. I've crashed these drones a lot, but you only get good at anything in life through practice and perseverance.
Yes.
Which I've done a lot of this,
So you take the little one, you actually go into the house and fly around in the house, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Which is, I think, the next level up for most drone photography or videography that I've seen. Mostly it's outside. And I thought about this morning, that what drone photography gives you as a person is you take me on the journey, right?
Yes.
I'm with you going through the house. I'm with you looking at the neighborhood, like you've taken me along for the ride, which is very powerful. So what are the common mistakes that people that use drones for real estate photography make?
I mean, it's getting the right lighting, right? Photography in it is all about lighting. And if you don't have the correct camera on it, if you go fly through darker patches in the house, if you haven't done your walkthrough, then maybe, the image quality isn't so sound. You have to, when you first go through a property, literally walk through it and plan in your head the route you're going to fly, and make sure it flows. It's all about flow. And then try and do something exciting too, like open a window or a balcony window and fly out of it and come back around.
Oh, that's very cool. So the storytelling is a big part for you.
Of course.
What makes a professional video product versus kind of somebody just starting it? What do you see is the next step up? Now, you just mentioned something, opening up a window and having the drone fly through it. So is it really all about adding some tricks? Or
I mean, knowing the foundation, the fundamentals of everything, right? Know the camera, know the settings, know the lighting. It's the same setup you do in photography, right?
Right.
Research, obviously we have YouTube, so it's fantastic for learning anything these days. But ChatGPT for any questions you want to re-reference. Like I said, I've only been doing this for 2 years now.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've come a long way in that time, because I'm just consistent with all the learning where I want to go with it.
Right.
Right.
Let's talk, like, I'm a photographer, a little bit of a videographer, but not a roving kind of moving video person. So tell me, like, the difference between, especially in real estate, photography is still important, but is it a 50-50 now with the video? Or, what's the advantage of video over photography? What's the advantage of photography over video?
Well, I mean, I do this professionally, and I get paid. And I work for companies, I do promotional videos, I do the real estate. We're here at the Canadian Tank Museum, and I'm filming the first ever long form YouTube series, Project 1918. Check it out, 200-year-old vehicles being taken apart. And so it's really important to know, your tricks and everything about it, and know who your target audience is too, what matters to the people who are watching it, what they want to see. And the best way of doing that, especially here, is I think this is interesting. I'm very curious, and I'm like, well, if I want to see this, then they will too. And we watch adverts, we watch shows. Every TV show we ever watch, my wife wants to watch a TV show. I'm not really paying attention to what's going on. I'm just looking at the shots, the angle, the lighting.
I'm with you, because when I'm driving, I think we both shoot the light. I tell people, you're not really just composing an image, you're taking the light, because different shots are way better with the right light. Did you have to worry about that with your drone shots?
We do, yeah, we do, and it's tricky, obviously, because it's very dynamic, and we're moving around places, and when we're doing a set, we can have the lights up, and we can spend the time tweaking it and getting it right. But with drones, it's like I've done like 5,000 videos for skydiving at least, and so the principle's been burnt into my head, like the sun is behind me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like the person said,
yes.
I know the angle. Yes. I know the angle to get, because I've had videos which obviously have not turned out well.
You've made the mistake.
That's it.
Right.
More than a few times.
Yes.
And so a drone is it's much safer than skydiving, right? It's, and it gives me the ability to really see the world in a unique perspective. But, and like you can go to the same place. You can have a piece of history that's been seen by millions of people.
Right.
But now with a drone, you could be the first person to ever see it from that angle.
That's a great point, because as photographers, we're running out of things to be unique about. I mean, how many shots of the Eiffel Tower are there? Like billions. You get to take it from a different angle. So now you've just taken all of those images that we have taken over the last 100 years, and now you get to reinvent them with your drone.
That's it. And I do video, obviously. You're so correct.
Yeah.
But these obviously have like 48 megapixel cameras, these drones, and more, they're very high profile pitch photos as well.
So when do you use that? When do you use
I use that for photography, for real estate.
Right.
I'll use it for that. And and if you're taking the corporate pictures of, you have corporate clients, they want to see their stores, their,
that famous kind of shot where everybody's standing
team
outside.
Team photos are very good for that too.
Right.
You want the high resolution to pick it up. School photography, I've done that. You have the big school in front of you. And you have that, you want high megapixel processing, so you can get all the little kids' faces going.
Yeah. Yes.
So you can never time everybody to do the right thing at the right time.
Right. So we're going to switch to from real estate photography to commercial photography.
Yes.
And one of the things that impressed me so much is when I went to the mushroom farm with you. And we go into where they ferment the hay so that they can use it as fertilizer for the mushrooms. And you go into this place and it's just a mess of hay and tractors and whatnot. And when you finished with with the video, and I'm going to show you guys this video, I thought I was watching a movie. I thought like it just had atmosphere, and I was shocked with the end product versus what you saw with your own eyes. So let's talk about commercial photography, commercial drone imagery, and it's got to be a little different than real estate. Your end goal is different, right? Is it about branding? Is it about storytelling? What is it?
Yeah, well, I mean, like we could do, like you and me would do the ground talking here, and we could be talking over it. Then you always want something visually enticing, because we look at social media. Everybody looks at their phones, and video is now, far more, people use video more than photos, right? It grabs attention more. This is the way the market is going.
Right.
And so you need to grab attention. You want people to pay attention for those first few seconds. And you got to keep giving them little hooks of information of what they want, right?
Right. And it's now, it's typically more B-roll, isn't it?
It's B-roll. Yeah, it's B-roll, obviously. Yeah,
mostly.
Because there's no audio on the drone.
That's right.
Right? When you don't want to hear anything from the drone,
right,
it's no good. So you're getting these unique views instead.
So it's a companion piece to any kind of video work.
100%.
And like we're doing this now with 3 iPhones.
Yes,
so,
we are. Fantastic.
I mean, you won't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
What about the client? A commercial client versus a real estate client? Can you talk to a little bit about the difference in those
like
people?
Real estate clients, they have houses and they're trying to spit these things out. And they have a lot of variety going on. Whereas like commercial client has a business.
Yes.
And that's their core. Like it's a more of a long going, we do more like ad campaign. We set something more specific up. It's not just one house, one time, when's the next house coming.
Yeah.
And you take a picture of a house, you can interview the real estate agent, which is fine. But, we are here in Durham. And we're very much here to serve the local businesses.
Right.
We want to give them the best show of what they've got. And they've worked incredibly hard to create their own businesses. And they need to be seen in the right light. And so by giving an option like drone photography from different angles, you can make it seem more cinematic. Like we talked about having establishing shot.
Yes.
Then we can get in closer. Then we can find them. And then you get the scene, you understand. It's not just a person in a room like we're here.
Yeah. Right? And I would say typically with commercial work, it's more about several videos telling a story, but try not to tell too much in one video. Keep it simple to that one idea. And then if you want to do more ideas, do more videos.
That's it.
Right? Correct, right?
Yep.
So what has been your favorite commercial shot?
Okay, so I mean, we had the museum, we're doing a documentation here, but one of the pieces I did for them also is from Remembrance Day.
Right.
You know, which is a huge thing. And
well, especially in Oshawa.
Especially in Oshawa.
Maybe the best Remembrance Day celebration I've seen.
It is, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I mean, here we have North America's largest collection of fully functional vehicles. And on Remembrance Day, they drive them downtown.
It's pretty epic.
To the square, and they have the vehicles in convoy. And, you know, you've got World War II tanks and newer, you know, from all around the world. And it's a very impressive sight. And so I I ran across town with my drone.
Yes.
Because you're not allowed to fly over people, right?
Right.
So I set myself up. I get permission. I'm an advanced drone pilot. I'm insured. I'm fully legal. And I fly in my spot, in my safety, so everybody can see. I get a cool angle.
If it's going to fall, it's going to hit you.
It's going to hit me. Exactly. But it's not because I did my pre-gear check.
Yeah.
And I land it. Then I run across town and get another angle.
Right.
Another shot.
So this is where you have to be flexible, right? Because you don't know what you're running into. There's crowds. There's people. How you set up, all that sort of stuff. You have to be flexible. And experience helps, right?
Yes, it does. And I plan my route beforehand.
Yes.
You know, and it's midtown where, you know, I've worked with before, you know, and it's, you know, same sort of thing. We do things like funerals as well. We're following a procession to the grave site and through the graveyard, which makes some beautiful shots. Obviously, it's a sad event. But, you know, then you can also, because my drone is like a 3-time zoom as well, you can give respect to the service.
Right, you know, without being in their face.
They can't even hear the drone.
Yeah. Do you know, I got some goosebumps thinking about you flying through the gravestones and stuff like that.
It does,
that was very, very cool. And again, you're taking me on a journey.
Yeah.
And when you, like, I take my photography very seriously. Like, I want to make sure I give my customer the best product I can. And I go over and above. Like, I always want to push myself. And in your case, it's the same thing.
I just want to be the best I can be.
The other lesson I've always told people is don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. Say yes to as many things as you can, but don't be afraid, right?
That's it.
Because that's what pushes you.
That's it.
I mean, I never thought I'd be doing interviews like this.
No, I didn't think I'd be doing this either.
Right? Like,
you know?
This is just something that, I'll try it. And then you catch the bug and then away you go, right? All right. So that's going to lead us into documentation, drone photography and videography. So we're here now at the Canadian Tank Museum, largest tank museum, working tanks in North America, maybe the world, over 130
tanks.
30 tanks.
Armored vehicles.
Yeah. And to get those tanks to be working, there's a ton of volunteers here who love fixing these tanks. So you're documenting them. And how much fun is that?
It's wonderful. It's challenging all the time. It's something new for me. I've never done a full length. These are 30-minute episodes, and they're detailed about the taking apart of these 200-year-old vehicles. You know, the first moving turret tank and the first ever 4x4 truck. Incredible machines. There's 200 volunteers, a fantastic community here at the museum. But only there's multiple projects going on. So this one has about a dozen team members, okay, of a variety of skills and abilities working together to over 2 years to get these vehicles back moving so they can use them in their exhibitions. Right.
Well, the amount of growth I've seen in this building for the last little while has been incredible. So, like, I'm really interested in this series. To be honest, it's going to ignite your film, almost making a movie kind of creativity, right? I've always wanted to do a video, like a music video or something like that. So I hope we can collaborate on something like that later. But tell me a bit more about the stories that you're telling in
the project here. I'm telling the stories of the machines. We have the curator, who we do a segment with him each time, and we have him walking around the museum to show different highlights for the viewers and the stories, the history between the tanks and everything behind them, the regiment as well that are here, and I interview the veterans and the team members on it as well, so people can relate to the people in the series. You know, these aren't like paid professionals. These are people with a wide variety of skills.
It's their love.
It's their love.
It's their love of it.
That's it, you know? And some of these people have been like they're 40, 50-year-old veterans. They have wonderful stories to tell. And then beyond that, there's a documentation period of actually just filming it and taking it apart, which, is something I hadn't done before this. So I had to learn to segment what I was doing into different filming categories and break that down, how to work, and then combining it all together into the finished product.
And telling that story, that is the best part of this work.
It is fantastic.
I think so. Yeah,
I get to sit down with all these amazing...
And you're learning stuff that you didn't know before.
Oh, wonderful.
Right? These guys are fond of knowledge.
That's it. And that's why I'm the perfect person, because I'm coming in, I have a basic knowledge of machinery and stuff, right? But I'm like, well, how does that work? Why does that work? I've got the camera in hand and they're there to tell it. So, as opposed to somebody who knows it all already. Right? And might not ask us questions. And
at the end of this video, I'm going to put a link to these episodes. How many episodes have we done so far?
We've got the second one's been released at this date here in March 2026. It's Project 1918. I have another one fully made. It's coming up. Another 3 of them are 80% done, and then another couple more after that. So we film a lot of it before we film 3 full ones before we even release the first one.
You have to have stuff in the bank, just like this show. I have to have a bunch of shows ready to go before the beginning of the season, right? Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about safety and regulations and what you need to do to be a licensed drone photographer and flyer.
Okay, in Canada, there's a basic and advanced drone pilot licenses. And if you in a countryside, you need a license, your drone can fly. But if you're anywhere near a center or a town, you need either your basic or advanced. We live in Oshawa, Ontario, which has a municipal airport.
Right.
And it's pretty much the same flying restrictions as downtown Toronto. Right. So the only person who can fly around these parts is somebody with an advanced pilot. And every time I want to fly my drone that has a geo lock on it, I have to get permission from Nav Canada. So it's quite a bit in there. I also, because I do commercial work, you don't have to, but it's recommended. I have $500,000 insurance just in case, I'm filming some guys, lift, central heating on a crane. Yeah. Just in case anything happens.
Well, same with us. I mean, if someone trips over a wire or something, you just never know. So go into the geo-locking piece, because people may not understand that.
And so a lot of drones, especially DJI ones and more, mass manufactured drones, they have something called, to get approved by the national body, they have to have a geo-lock, which means they basically have a GPS tracker in them. And so if you're trying to fly it, even just trying, you can have everything ready, but the geo-lock will be like, no, you don't have permission to fly here.
Right.
You can't do that.
And that just is automatic. It just won't fly.
It just won't fly unless you get permission. That's it.
And somebody has to unlock it from their end for it to fly.
There's Nav Canada. They have there's a team, and some of the automatic. Sometimes if it's below like right here next to the airport, I have to get like 2 days permission to fly here.
Yeah. Okay.
If I'm just downtown Oshawa, I can just put in, if I'm generally below 100 feet, right, that's what it is there. Yeah. You're automatically approved. If it's over 100 feet, you have to wait.
It's fascinating to watch him fly in and around things. Like I think there's a learning curve here, isn't there?
A lot. I'm like 2 years of flying this thing. I can weave it between my legs now, but if you were to pick it up, you would immediately crash it in. Immediately.
And then outside, you have to have more weight because the wind's going to take it away and away it goes. And
there's all different sizes of different ones. And this one, I stick a GoPro on the top to get different imagery, and I can choose what I want.
Right.
As opposed to this stuff. Because the difference is some of the cameras, they have a gimbal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like the DJI ones, they have a gimbal you can move, and you can make them on your custom ones too. But generally, a first-person drone will have a locked camera, right? And it's generally going to be at an angle.
Right.
If your drone flies an angle to be propelled forward. So if your camera's straight, you're going to look at the
That's
floor.
what you're going to get.
That's it. And then so for the faster drones, the faster the drone, the faster the angle. But then when you come in the land, you just got to be good, because then your camera's going to be facing the sky.
That's really interesting. I never knew that. Now, I imagine the ones with a gimbal in it, they're a little more expensive.
Actually, they're cheaper.
They're cheaper.
There's one called the DJI Neo 2. I could show you later. One's got a gimbal. You can buy this for like $500. But my custom made one, which doesn't have the gimbal, is far more powerful engines.
Okay, and they've got to fly in different
different
weather.
conditions, different weathers.
Yeah.
You know, my one, the one I made custom is made for professional cinematography.
Right.
Like I say, you put a news GoPros on these with the biggest, biggest aperture for the biggest light.
Can you put filters on them as well?
Yeah, I got ND filters for going on my drone as well. So today is pretty bright light, so we'd put an ND filter on and be able to get that glare out of there as well.
Okay. How does somebody get involved with drone flying, photography, videography? What's their first step?
Do your research about what kind of drone you want. There's smaller ones, there's larger ones. Think what you're going to use it for. There's already great smaller ones that you can pick up that's really high tech. Like right now, we've got a DJI Mini 5. Is a really fantastic drone for photography, high quality. It can cope with some winds. You can also get, if you want to do it more inside or around people, you really want to make sure you got prop guards on your drones, and there's different drones for that too. So you've got, they're called cine whoops, right? And then you've got aerial drones too. So just research what type of drone you want. And then when you get your drone, make sure you're in a big open space, like a big field. You don't want to hit anything. You don't want to ruin your good drone. Don't buy a cheap drone, right?
That's probably the biggest mistake people make.
They buy those $60 drones, $100 drones of Amazon or whatever, and they get it for a gift. And there's no stabilization. They do not handle wind. They get stuck in a tree because you fly around a tree, and then they're like, "Wow, drones are rubbish." Because that happens.
And there's a lot of features with this. The come back to host.
Yeah.
Right, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, stabilization. It won't fly if you fly up to something. It won't go into it because the sensors above, below.
And that's the big improvement on them is from the beginning, right? Is that now they're almost they're the safest they've ever been.
The safest they've ever been,
Yeah.
But I mean, once again, where's the error then? It's going to be the drone. It's going to be the user.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
You got to put your time in. So is that like one of the biggest misconceptions people have about drones is that they're easy to use and, you can just get a cheap one? Is that kind of...
Well, the ones that cost a bit more easier to use, you can take them off, take your hands off the controls.
Yeah.
All of these ones, right? And then you go up, down, and move around. FPV ones, the ones you see doing all the cool tricks and stuff, there are easier ones to fly. DJI has the Avatar 2 or the Neo drones are pretty great drones to get started with. That's what I recommend, the DJI Neo drones. But if you want to get into it as racing, those drones are still not as nimble as the ones that you can make yourself. And those are the ones you get the crazy shots on. Those take a lot of devotion. And if you want to get into FPV flying, you can get a drone flying simulator on your computer. There's a whole bunch of these things.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, it's great.
That's cool. So you can simulate at home. Wow, and it's pretty lifelike?
Very much so. I had like over 100 hours on it before I picked up, I bought my first drone. It was in last winter, so like the winter before. And I had all this time to fly inside. And I just, once again, I would just fly it do the game for like 5 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the morning, and then again at night. Just do it a little bit every single day. And that's how you get constant improvement, consistency.
Oh, I love it.
Quality.
All right, so we're at the end of the show. Where can they find your work? What's your website, your Instagram, all of that stuff?
We have dronepilots.ca. We have a YouTube channel as well with the same name. I'm Casper White at Casperville on Instagram if you want to see my personal one too. We'd love you to check us out and see the media we have going on.
Well, I recommend all of his work. I'm so impressed with him. And I really am so glad you joined us for this episode. It was something different for me to do. I really appreciate Casper being here, and stay tuned for our next episode.